What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Boomsday back again with another how-to video. And today we're going to be reconing this subwoofer. But not only are we going to be reconing it, we're actually going to be downsizing it as well. So we're going to take this Sundown U.v1 12 and turn it into a Sundown U.v1 10, okay? So we're just going to downsize the sub for the customer. So if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you stopping through and seeing how we do things around here. If you're a regular or a subscriber, hey, appreciate you coming back through, see what we got going today. You know what it is. But before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Ray down at Illuminati Sounds down in the Tampa area. He makes great drop-ins for Sundown and other products. He's always been sending me stuff for years. Cool dude. You've probably seen him on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Those anime style frames and baskets he's been doing. He's the originator. So yeah, holla at my boy Ray, Illuminati Sounds. I'll link him in the description below. Appreciate you as always, my brother. Thank you. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's do it. All right. So since we're doing a resize, cleaning up the basket won't be necessary. All we have to do is cut out all the soft parts and get down to the motor, all right? And then unbolt it from this basket and attach the new equipment, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that right now. First things first, I always recommend using a brand new blade. They're cheap, easy to come by, they sell them everywhere. Get you a cheap blade, but make sure it's a new one. That way it's easier to cut all the soft parts out, okay? So what I like to do first is start at the surround and then work my way in, okay? So take the blade and go straight in like that and then go all the way around. And like I said, if you use a new blade, it should be like butter almost. Real easy, almost anybody can do it, doesn't take a whole lot of effort. And cut the back off, all right? Now what I like to do is cut the inner lip or the inside. Put the blade on the middle, on the inside lip like that. Let's go around. All right. Now the surround's gone. Go ahead and throw that away. And I missed. All right. Next thing, what I like to do is actually fold the cone on top of itself. That way it's easier to get down to the spider, okay? So I'm gonna fold the cone on top of itself like so. Folding the cone in on top of itself. And again, this just makes it easier to get to the spider. It's not necessary, but for me, this is the way I do it. It makes it a little easier for me. All right. Now that you got it all folded and out the way, take your blade again, and you're gonna want to cut that spider, all right? And when I say spider, for those that you don't know, since you're new people, the spider is going to be this part right here, this red part. We're gonna cut all of that out right there. We're just gonna go around in a circle and cut that out, and the whole kit and caboodle should be able to come out. All right, I'm gonna set you back down. There it is. So, blade right into the spider. Let's cut it out. Oh. Yeah, he definitely cooked that. Look at that, y'all. I ain't having it all the way turned up. Yeah. The coil said that was a lie. The coil definitely determined that was a lie. All right, so once you get all the soft parts cut out, it should be nice, or possibly dark, but it should look like that, okay? Now you want to obviously look down in the gap. The gap is this part right here, the little gap, obviously. Look in there for anything any kind of debris that might have fallen in there, such as like pieces of the coil or anything extra. So we're going to actually look around in there with a flashlight and make sure it's nice and clean, all right? And we'll be right back. All right. Now after you've made sure there's nothing in that gap, I've checked it thoroughly, I got all the little stuff out that I could see, flashlight and all that stuff. You're gonna want to take some masking tape, okay? And you're gonna want to cover the gap up, all right? Because we're gonna unbolt the basket, but we don't want anything else to actually fall back off in there and make it harder on ourselves, okay? So just take some masking tape and cover it up. All right, gonna do that now. So after you have the gap taped off really good, let me show you what I'm talking about. Everything's taped off. Nothing can fall off in there now. That's all the way around. Taped off really good like that. Now it's time to remove this basket, all right? Now, different baskets are gonna have different type of connection points. This one has Allen heads. So I'm gonna take my Allen wrench and pop the basket off, all right? But depending on what subwoofer you're reconing or resizing, they could be different. So again, you just gotta check and see when you get off in there, all right? But I'm gonna go ahead and remove those. It's 6 of those. So after you have all the bolts out, the basket frame should just be able to come off, all right? Now sometimes people put adhesive on the bottom of the basket and when they attach them to spacers and such. So sometimes you might need like a pry or breaker bar or something like that to pop it loose. Let's see what this one does. Yep. See, sometimes they put adhesive on there, but nothing's broken or nothing. It just has to pop loose like that, all right? So let me grab the 10-inch basket and we'll be right back, all right? So going from the 12 to the 10, it goes like that. 10's gonna sit like that. All right, put that to the side. All right. So like I stated before, a lot of times guys put adhesive on the bottom of their baskets. So what I like to do is just take a little bit of CA glue, like I said, a little bit of CA glue, and just tap it on the corners of the spacer. That way you have a little bit of connection. And I do that before I set the bolts in. It helps to give it a little bit of strength or whatever, but it still be easy to kind of pop off if you need to for any future recones or anything you got to do. So like I said, let me go ahead and do that now. Just a little bit on each corner. Like I said, I'm not putting a lot of CA down at all. Just enough to kind of hold it a little bit. And I'm not even gonna hit it with activator. I'm gonna let it kind of just air dry over time. Ain't no point in speeding this up. That way I can still maneuver it and move it, all right? So now all you gotta do is take your basket, line it up with your bolt holes, and put it on there. And it should line up perfectly if you're gonna be doing something like this, where these are basically the same speaker, just bigger, different basket, all right? So now, take your bolts, just put them in the holes. I like to hand tighten them first before I put pressure on them, and I'll use a drill and everything later to make sure it's nice and snug. But like I said, I like to just hand tighten everything first to make sure everything sets properly, all right? So let's go ahead and get that started now. So after you have the new basket mounted completely, I've already tightened it all the way down. Once you've gotten it all the way down, now it's time to clean up the new frame if it's not a brand new one. Now, personally, I like to scuff up everything before I put any kind of glue or adhesive because, you know, it makes it stick a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and clean all this up, make sure everything's nice and prepped and ready to go. So this is going to basically be the recone part of the video, all right? So first things first, I have to take off this metal gasket, all right? So same thing, Allen head, and just put it in there and take them off. Now, time to clean off the frame, all right? So always safety first. Get you some kind of respirator, mask, something, because you don't want to breathe in anything that might come off of this, okay? So always safety first. Get a mask or something. Always do it in a well ventilated area with fans and all that good stuff too. So what I use is just angle grinder from Harbor Freight and like a 60 grit or 80 grit flapper disc, depending. Sometimes a little lower depending on how much junk's on there. But that's all I use. So time to grind it, all right? you can see, got it all shiny now. So again, it's not necessary on every basket to do it, but personally, my OCD tells me, hey, sand it off, better, you know, better grab and all that good jazz, okay? So after you got it completely sanded down, now you can go ahead and remove that tape that you put down, okay? So let's do that now. And if anything fell on top of it, get some air or something like that, compressed air blower or something like that, and try to blow it off, okay? Don't just take it off with it on there, obviously. Try to keep it as clean as possible, all right? So let me go ahead and pull up the tape. Come as one big piece. I love it. I love it. So satisfying. Okay. So again, always check your gap. Check it 3, 4, 5 times if you got to. Just make sure ain't nothing in there, okay? So even though I had it taped up, I'm gonna look again to make sure there's nothing in there. And I don't see anything. Okay. Yep. So it's ready to go, you guys. All right. All right. So with everything cleaned out, it's time to insert the drop in, okay? Now, before we do any of that, I always like to talk about shimming. A lot of people have no idea what I'm talking about when I talk about it, so I'm gonna show you what I mean, all right? So shimming just refers to putting something in between the former, which is this part, where the coil is, and the gap, okay? When you're reconing the subwoofer. So lower to base, I'm not sure if they sell these anymore, but they used to sell these. You buy that, you put that right over the top like that. The drop in should just slide right down it. And it's good and shimmed right there. Can't rock side to side, nothing like that. All you gotta do is make sure all your holes are lined up here and here. But if you don't have access to this, or you don't have something like this, I'll show you what else you can use. There's tons of things you can use. All you have to do is make sure it's even all the way around, and it's not super duper crazy thick, that the drop in can still kind of move a little bit, okay? And I'll show you what I mean. So I used to use cereal top boxes. So you just take the cereal box, cut it, and the thickness of it is good for most 3-inch coil subwoofers. So all you have to do is just cut them like this. And the same thing I did with that shim, I'm gonna show you. Just put them straight down into the gap. So I'll do it with one hand, but you'll get the gist of it. See, and like I said, you're just putting it right in that gap right there. Cut 4 of them, all right. And then I'm gonna set you down, put this down real quick. All right, can't do that with one hand. You just push them inside because they're kind of flimsy, and that's kind of what you want, as crazy as it sounds. You kind of want to be a little flimsy. That way you can go ahead and just kind of wiggle it on down like that. Then make sure they're nice and straight. But effectively, this right here is the same thing as using this now. So you see the shims in there? I straighten them out. Again, line up my holes and everything. And it's effectively the same exact thing as using this shim, okay? So always, always, always make sure you're shimming good properly. Check it 2, 3 times, make sure it's good and tight. Or not tight, but good and even like it wants to be, because once you glue it down, it ain't easy to come back up. So always make sure, like I said, take your time, cut you some that if you need them to be a little bit longer, make them a little bit longer. But yeah, shim. Always make sure you shim, okay? All right. So now time to glue the drop in down, okay? So what you're gonna do is make sure you have good quality CA glue, and I'll link in the description below what I use. Glue as well as the activator I use. I'll link it in the description below, so check the description. All right, so first thing you're gonna wanna do is that cool little spot that you cleaned off right there, it's time to put the glue down, all right? So we're gonna do the spider landing first. We're not gonna do up here first, we're gonna do the spider landing first, all right? So we're just gonna take the glue, and it doesn't have to be a ton, just a nice general liberal bead of it, you know? Because you want it to kind of, you know, you want that spider to grab in there and, you know, be seated properly. So a nice bead of glue is all you need. You don't gotta go crazy with the glue. Nothing like that. This glue's not coming out very well currently, but we're gonna get it. All right. That looks good to me. As you can see, just a bead of glue. Then, whatever you're using to shim, whether it be a shim like this or the cardboard like I showed you a second ago, go ahead and place it into your gap like that. And now you can take your drop in and just set it right over the top of it and get it all nice and lined up. Cool thing about these, they got the little holes already kind of pre-marked, so you can kind of see where it goes before you smash it all the way down into the glue. So get those out the way, get those out the way. All right, and it's right there. Yep, just like that. All right. So what I like to do is kind of touch it one time first before I spray my activator. And some people say just go ahead and spray it. I'm not like that. I just want to make sure everything touches. I kind of go back and look and make sure I don't need to add any glue. Make sure everything got touched. All right. Time to spray activator. So just a liberal spritz, and you don't got to go crazy with it because it's gonna hold. And then same thing again. Line it back up. Make sure it's straight, and press it back down. All right. Making sure that it gets into that glue. Now, it's time to lock it down. So you can use clothespins, you can use clamps like these, whatever you use, just make sure you get even pressure all the way around the spider landing, okay? So after you have your spider landing already glued and it's dry, the next step that I like to do is go ahead and attach your tinsel leads to the terminals, okay? So the way you do that is that since this isn't glued down yet, this still is pliable, so it comes up like this. It's a lot easier now, and I'll show you, to actually go in there and attach those, because I can physically put my hands and tools still right there and it won't mess up anything, okay? So that's what I'm going to do now. So just take my little screws, take my terminal ends, and attach them. All right, so after you've gotten your tinsels down, it's time to glue down the surround, okay? So same thing like before, just pull it back where you've cleaned it up at, put a nice little bead all the way around, activate, clamp it down. All right, let's go ahead and do that now. So, got all the clips on. Just going to let it dry for a little while. Not in a rush. So I'm just going to let it kind of dry and settle like it's supposed to. We'll be back in just a little while. So after it's been sitting for a while, it's time to remove your clips, clothespins, or whatever you use to go ahead and tie the surround down, okay? So I'll go ahead and start popping them off now. All right. So after you removed all your clips or clothespins or whatever you use, what I like to do is go around the surround and make sure the glue adhered properly, okay? Because sometimes it looks great, but you might have like a little air pocket or something underneath there. So the best thing to do is just go around and check it. And when I say check it, what I like to do is just kind of tug on it a little bit. As you can see, I'm tugging on it. I mean, I'm not being gentle with it. I'm pulling on it pretty snug to see if anything, look, see, like right there. And the glue's down. It's clearly down, but it be like that sometimes. So what I'll do, and I'm glad I got that on camera, so let you guys know to stress test this, because I mean it's gonna be moving, and it's fairly smug everywhere else, but they got one spot right there, and I glued the crap out of it, but you know how it is. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that up, put a little bit more glue and activator, let it dry for a little bit longer, and we'll be right back, all right? All right, so I got that taken care of. It's nice and tight. It ain't going nowhere. So the next thing you would want to do is replace your metal gasket, all right? And on this basket, there's little holes, as you can see. You just take the Allen heads and put them back where they go, all right? So, gonna do that now. And it's fairly easy to line up. I mean, just kind of put the holes where they go. Take your Allen head, same one you used when you took it off. Replace it with this one. Just screw it on down. Alright, so after everything's good and dry, it's time to go ahead and attach the dust cap if you're going to use one, alright? Now, before you attach any dust cap, I always recommend scuffing up the backside, removing some of that that little film that's over the top of it. So all you need is just some standard sandpaper and kind of rough it up, okay? Just like that. Alright, so after it's all nice and scuffed, the easiest thing that I found to do is to take masking tape, roll it on top of itself, and place it on top of the dust cap. That way you can kind of pick up the dust cap a whole lot easier and place it down however you want to. So it makes it a whole lot easier, all right? And this is what I do. So put a couple pieces on there just in case, and just roll it on top of itself. Just in case you need to grab it at a couple different points or adjust or anything like that. Just makes it a little easier. All right. So now, we can go ahead and remove the shim or shims, whatever you use. You can go ahead and take all that out. All right, after you remove your shim, what I like to do is just kind of test fit first. Kind of eyeball where your dust cap, where you want it at, you know what I mean? The cool thing about these Sundown and a couple of other subs, they actually have a line. I'll show you. They actually have a line right there where the dust cap's supposed to sit at, or their standard dust cap sits at, so. All you would do is take a bead of glue and just follow that all the way around, and you'll be good to go. So that's what we're going to do next. Sits back down. All right. So like I said, just make sure there's nothing in the area. I'll take a bead of glue and just go all the way around. If the glue come out, there it goes. All right. You don't have to go crazy. Just a nice little bead of glue will do. All right, now time to line it up. So what I like to do is take my terminals, see where they are, and obviously try to hold it as horizontal or vertical as need be. All right. So take a little activator. Nothing crazy. Doesn't have to be crazy because this is gonna sit for a while. I'm gonna let it dry. Just kind of line it up. And hit the edges with activator and kind of push down a little pressure on it. As you're pushing down, you can go ahead and take your tape off. And then you're going to want to find some kind of a weight, all right? I recommend at least 2 to 4 pounds. And I know it sounds crazy, but if you place it directly on the dust cap, it'll sit there and kind of put weight evenly all the way down for this dust cap to cure a whole lot better. I couldn't find my other weight. It's around here somewhere, but this works just as well. Like I said, it doesn't have to be crazy heavy. Just something that can kind of put pressure on the dust cap for a little while and just let it go ahead and cure, all right? We'll be right back. All right, and what started out as a Sundown Audio U.v1 12 is now a Sundown Audio U.v1 10. All right, ready to go. Ready to rock and roll. All right. So, until next time, guys.